Coming up on Newswatch 18, a water main break shut down a section of Grand Avenue yesterday. We'll bring you the latest.
Also, find out how one campus organization is trying to change the perception of how marijuana is used.
And we've seen some warmer temperatures into today and even into tomorrow, but we might have some precipitation in the forecast. We'll have more in tonight's weather.
Iowa State knocked off Oklahoma State last night to enhance its tournament resume. I'll have that and more after this break. You're watching Newswatch 18.
This is Newswatch 18.
Milwaukee.
Newswatch 18 starts now.
Good evening and welcome to the Thursday, March 7th edition of Newswatch 18. I'm Chris Kelly.
And I'm Alyssa Weiss. We'll get to the news shortly, but first we turn to meteorologist Kristy Carter, who'll give us a quick look at tonight's weather. Kristy?
Well, we saw some clear skies and sun out there today, and even warmer than it was yesterday, and it's looking to be the same into the weekend. But we'll have more on that coming up in the weather segment after sports. Well, let's take a look at the day planner for tomorrow. 8 a.m. tomorrow when you're headed out to class, 27 degrees. By noon, warming up to 38, and by 3 p.m., 43 degrees, getting back into the mid-40s. But by that time tomorrow afternoon, the clouds will start to increase, and that precipitation will start to move in. We'll have more on that coming up.
Polls for the Iowa State University Government of the Student Body elections will open on March 11th and 12th. The two teams campaigning for president and vice president are Spencer Hughes and Hillary Clutcher, and Dan Radisky and Zach Bauer. Both platforms focus on transparency and stronger communication with the student body through the GSB website and popular social networking sites. During the debates, the candidates have discussed issues such as the tuition freeze on campus, housing expansion, and enrollment increases. If you would like to learn more about the candidates and their platforms, visit their campaign websites.
Early Wednesday morning, Ames drivers were interrupted by a water main break at the intersection of 20th Street and Grand Avenue. Traffic on Grand Avenue was restricted to one lane each direction, and 20th Street was closed for much of Wednesday. City crews had the streets repaired by 2 p.m. yesterday, and both streets were fully open this morning. The break is thought to have been caused by a shift in the ground that resulted from the freeze-thaw cycle that occurs each winter.
In a large lecture hall, there are bound to be a few students who aren't paying attention. One ISU professor realized it may not be laziness or boredom causing heavy eyes and yawns. Jay Newell, professor of advertising 230, saw that most of the students that fit that description speak Chinese as their primary language. To combat this problem, Newell, with the help of graduate student Nai Sir Lee, have translated all their lectures, slides, and syllabi in both English and Chinese. Students have expressed that the slides not only help them learn the class material, but also help them learn the English language as well.
States invest a significant amount of time and money into keeping ex-cons from becoming repeat offenders. Iowa State University researchers David Peters and Andy Hochstetler have found that rehabilitation works, but only in certain situations. For urban parolees, treatment reduces the rate of recidivism by 40%. For rural parolees, treatment has no effect. Peters and Hochstetler believe that a lack of access to rehabilitation programs may be a contributing factor.
Senator Tom Harkin has announced that one Iowa State University faculty member will be joining the National Student Financial Aid Advisory Board. Roberta Johnson, director of the Office of Student Financial Aid, is the newest member of the board. The ACSFA's main goal is to communicate with both Congress and the Department of Education when it comes to student aid policy. Johnson, who has worked at Iowa State since 1982, will serve a 4-year term with the board.
If you visited the North Grand Mall in the past year, you probably have noticed some major changes. The Ames Mall has been undergoing a redevelopment project, which has finally come to an end. Shoe Carnival, Kohl's, and TJ Maxx all opened this weekend to a full crowd of customers. Nearly 100 people stood in line outside TJ Maxx before it opened early Sunday morning. The grand opening celebration will be this evening starting at 6:30 p.m. with a fireworks display, mall-wide sale, and other store events. So, Dani, a crucial win last night for the men's tournament hopes.
That's right, Chris, and I'll tell you all about that and much more after this break. Stay tuned. You're watching Newswatch 18. I'm Dani Rondeau, and I have your Cyclone sports update. Iowa State men's basketball team steamrolled number 13 Oklahoma State on senior night. Will Clyburn took the reins for the Cyclones with 20 points in an 87-76 win over the Cowboys last night.
We knew at some point they were going to make their run. And, you know, being leaders and being seniors, we knew that we had to come together and get stops. And I think the difference between, you know, most late game situations, we just continue to be aggressive down the stretch. We didn't, you know, most games I think we kind of backed off and kind of stalled a little bit, but this game we stayed aggressive and we kept our lead.
You guys said it best. All our seniors, I thought, had huge impacts on this win tonight. You know, what they've been doing for this program for 2 years is really special for getting this program back on the map and, you know, really giving us a boost. And, you know, I couldn't be more proud of those guys for the way they went out with their last game at Hilton.
The Iowa State seniors finished strong with 10 points in a 10-2 Cyclone run to increase the Cyclones' lead to 10 with just over 2 minutes remaining. The Clones are now 32-3 in Hilton Coliseum over the past 2 seasons and have tallied consecutive 10-win league wins for only the second time in school history. State travels to West Virginia Saturday for the final game of the Big 12 slate. The Cyclones and Mountaineers tip off at 12:45. You can catch the game on ABC. Your 20th ranked Cyclone wrestling squad heads to Stillwater this weekend to compete in the first annual Big 12 duels on Friday, followed by the Big 12 championships on Saturday. The Cyclones have won 8 of their last 9 duels dating back to January. Automatic bids are up for grabs on Saturday for the 2013 NCAA championships. Number 20, Matt Gibson, who is 14-7 on the season and is the reigning Big 12 champion, will likely have the number 2 seed at 285 pounds. Kyvan Gadsden is currently on a 9-match win streak, and during his run has beaten 3 top 10 opponents. For live coverage of the matches, visit the Cowboys website. While one Cyclone track and field star isn't racing this weekend at the Indoor Nationals, he's busy preparing for his last outdoor season as a student athlete. ISU TV's Kristy Carter met with him for the busiest of all the speedsters.
There is a saying, whatever you do in life, do it with a purpose. Iowa State's Ian Warner does just that. Warner, a decorated short sprinter on the ISU track and field team, takes his talents far beyond being a collegiate athlete.
I only got recruited by Iowa State. Like I sent letters to countless schools. Iowa State was the one school out of how many Division I schools that actually gave me a chance.
Despite being underestimated by many in high school, Warner feels he proved them wrong. He made the Canadian Olympic team at last year's London Olympics, alongside his brother Justin.
Crossing the line at the Olympic trials last year in the 100, like, everyone thought I was super excited because, like, I made the Olympic team. I never thought about it one time. I was so happy that me and my brother were 1 and 2 in the country. Like, my patience had paid off, but it took, like, that was, like, 4 years of sweat that I put in. The Olympics was really a cool experience because, like, it was a lot more humbling than a lot of people think.
Balancing the Olympics, Division I athletics, and college academics can be overwhelming. Try co-owning 2 companies as well.
And we did a whole list of things wrong. I could write a book about the things we did wrong. We just started running with it. Let's offer athletes like help and things that they want to know. Like, we've been through some things, so let's teach people about the stuff we've been through. It's just like it's a part of my life now. I run it out of my room, and like it's crazy. Like, my room is chaos. Like, I just have like boxes piled on top of each other, and like it's absolute chaos.
Outside of running, parallax, and cover ground, Warner has one goal: to motivate others to achieve their own success.
Like, life is always about like what you can do for other people. You can do anything that you want to do, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy to do it. Because if you would have asked me if I would have done this 5 years ago, I would have never thought I could have.
It's like one of those feelings like the devil's trying to break you in the middle, you know what I mean? But you know, you ain't gonna let him win. You can't let him win.
For ISU TV, I'm Kristy Carter.
7 Cyclone athletes will take a crack at earning national championships this weekend in Fayetteville, Arkansas, including defending 5,000-meter champion Betsy Sina. The Iowa State women's gymnastics team travels to Iowa City this weekend to face Iowa in an Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series matchup. State currently leads the all-time series with 51 wins and 28 losses. The 2 teams have split their regular season matches the past 3 seasons. State is headed into the weekend with a recent upset victory over 12th-ranked Minnesota on February 24th in Hilton. The Cyclones posted a season's best with 195.55 points in the victory. Iowa State continues its slow swing back to full strength and has gone without all-around competitors Haley Johnson and Caitlin Brown for most of the season. The meet begins at 7 at Carver Hawkeye Arena. The Iowa State women's softball team will play 5 games this weekend at the Fresno State Classic. The Cyclone should see some talent out west, as 4 of the 5 teams they face are ranked. Last weekend, the Cyclones defeated St. John's twice and fell to #1 Alabama twice at the Eastern Classic in Tuscaloosa. Senior Erica Miller drove in 10 runs over the 4-game span, topping the team and Big 12 in hitting this season with an average of .512. Bernie Gomez may get a chance to steal a few more bases this weekend, especially against San Diego State, who has allowed 20 stolen bases this season. The first game begins at 7 on Thursday against Fresno State. And that's all I have for your Cyclone Sports Update. So, Kristy, tell us about the weather this weekend.
Well, those temperatures are seeming to warm for the weekend, but we also have precipitation in the forecast. We'll have more of that coming up after this break. This is Newswatch 18. Welcome back to Newswatch 18. I'm Kristy Carter with your Cyclone weather tonight. We have quite a few different things coming into play over this weekend. First of all, warmer temperatures. People are going to be really excited about that. I am very excited about that. Finally seeing those warmer temperatures into the mid-40s. We also have a chance for rain, even some thunder. You could hear a few rumbles of thunder over the course of this weekend, but we also have a chance of snow in the forecast, so we aren't completely done with winter just yet. Current conditions, 26 in Ames. We have about an east wind of around 13 miles an hour, so things are not too bad out there. Mostly clear skies. Today we saw a high of 30, low of 5. No precipitation on today, but that's all right because we have plenty of it coming this weekend. So current temperatures, we have about mid-20s around most of the state and down into 41 in Council Bluffs. So nice warm temperatures for them. Seeing much of the same story for the winds across the state. About that east-southeast wind around 10 miles an hour. That's dropping wind chills to about 10 degrees, so about 15 here in Ames and 34 down in Council Bluffs. But tonight's lows, 28 over there in Council Bluffs, mid-20s around much of Iowa. And into tomorrow, we see that 40-degree temperature here in Ames, which is going to be fantastic. But if you look down in the western part of the state, 49 degrees, and in much of the region, we have even a almost 60-degree temperature down in Hayes. They're going to see a nice spring early. Much of the country, though, we are seeing some storms that are going to come into play in much of the southwest. These are going to bring some storm warnings, some blizzard warnings, potentially for part of Colorado and into Nebraska. And then we have a nice system off on the east that has brought some rain and snow to them over the course of today. Looking at today, our clouds, we had some clouds this morning, but they've moved out as the day has gone on. And if we continue into tomorrow, these clouds are going to stay away for most of the evening and into tomorrow morning. However, by tomorrow night, they're going to start to come back. We're going to see that rain start to come in after you get out of class tomorrow. So after 6 o'clock tomorrow, you're going to see that precipitation start to come down. And that's going to continue all night and into Saturday. And by the time we're done with this, we are talking about some pretty significant precipitation, which is awesome. However, we do have this cold front that is also going to move in. So by the time Sunday comes around, we're going to see slightly colder temperatures. We'll talk about that here in just 1 second. Take a look at this forecast rainfall. By the time we're done with it, we're talking about over half an inch of precip is what we're looking at right now, which is excellent because we are still in a drought. So that's going to be fantastic for us in the forecast. So tonight, 23 degrees, partly cloudy. It's going to stay pretty clear for most of the evening. And into tomorrow, we're going to have that rain coming in the evening. And let's look at this day planner for the rest of the week. We have that rain on Saturday, maybe mixing with some snow on Sunday morning. And then by the end of the week, as we look into spring break, we have a nice mid-50s temperature over on Thursday.
Marijuana reform is typically associated with getting high. Normal ISU hopes to change that. Maria Lisignoli and Ben Theobald have more.
Marijuana legalization met at the Great Hall in the Memorial Union to discuss the benefits of the legalization of marijuana for medical use. Dr. Charles Goldman said that marijuana is a painkiller and an anti-wasting drug for a number of diseases.
The AMA 2000 cancer wasting and AIDS-related wasting. Multiple sclerosis, other autoimmune diseases like inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's ulcerative colitis, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia. These are diseases that are not treated by benign drugs that we prescribe.
State Representative Bruce Hunter, the author of 2 legalization bills currently in the House, highlighted the importance of removing the stigma around marijuana.
We've got the conversation started now, where people are actually talking about it.
Hunter says that one stereotype is particularly damaging to the legalization efforts.
That was number one complaint, that we just wanted to pass this bill so people could get high easier.
Sophomore Brianna Baldwin suffers from a rare autoimmune disease in which treatment leaves her in a lot of pain. She vocalizes her support for the legalization of medicinal marijuana.
I feel as if a simple, natural form of medication like that, like marijuana, if that can help them, I feel as if they shouldn't be punished to do that.
With Ben Theobald, I'm Maria Lizignoli with ISU TV.
Normal ISU has over 300 members. That's all we have for this edition of Newswatch 18. Make sure to tune in on Tuesday at 8 for more news, weather, and sports.
Have a great night and weekend, Ames.